company. We couldn't go see an elephant walk through the forest. See how it pushes trees aside? It tramples past. Open clearings where light pours in. Now imagine that elephant is gone. Within months, the forest closes in. Rivers shift course. The entire landscape rewrites itself. Right now, Earth giants are disappearing. The architects who have shaped our planet and ecosystems for millions of years. What happens to a world that has lost its landscape engineers? 66 million years ago, this exact question had an answer. When dinosaurs went extinct, Earth didn't just lose animals. It lost the architects of entire continents. So what happened when the dinosaurs were gone? And what does it mean for us now? There's a place where ancient rocks tell the whole story. This might be one of the most important lessons Earth has ever taught us about disappearing species. What we're about to discover might change how you see the world and show you new ways to help shape a better future. I'm Dr. Silvia Pineda-Munoz, and this is Climate Agent. We often think about extinction in terms of the animals we lose. The last member of a species, an empty habitat, a photograph of something that will never exist again. But extinction does something else, something we talk about less. It transforms landscapes. When large animals disappear, the world just doesn't get quieter. It gets different. Rivers change their course. Forests grow in places that were once open. The very shape of the land shifts. Think about elephants. They knock down trees, dig water holes, create paths that other animals follow. Remove elephants from the landscape, and within years, that landscape starts to look completely different. Scientists call these animals ecosystem engineers. Right now, we're losing these landscape architects at a faster pace than almost at any time on Earth history. Elephants, rhinos, and large herbivores, the animals that physically shape the environment, are disappearing due to habitat destruction, hunting, and climate change. So here's the question. What happens to the planet when its biggest landscape architects disappear? To answer that, we need to travel back to the last time this happened on a global scale. 66 million years ago, an asteroid 6 miles wide slammed into what's now the Yucatan Peninsula in the Gulf of Mexico. The impact ended the age of dinosaurs. You probably already know that part of the story. But here's what most textbooks don't tell you. The dinosaur extinction didn't just create opportunities for us, the mammals. It fundamentally rewired how Earth's landscapes work. Dr. Lucas Weaver from the University of Michigan and his colleagues discovered this by studying rocks in Montana and North Dakota. To most people, these rocks just look like stripes, layers of browns, grays, and reds stacked on top of each other. But to a paleontologist, they are a story written in stone.
Oh, this is my collection of fossil samples.
Right in the middle of these layers, there is a thin band of clay packed with iridium, a rare metal that came from that asteroid. And right over that line, something dramatic happens. The rocks above it look completely different from the rocks below it. Below the line, we have thin horizontal layers that showed rivers constantly jumping around, flooding unpredictably, and creating unstable landscapes. But above the line, thick curved layers that show big, stable, meandering rivers. And between those rivers, deposits of coal, lots of coal. Dr. Weaver realized these weren't just different rocks. They were evidence of two completely different worlds. Before the asteroid, wide, shallow rivers that shifted course constantly. Open landscapes with scattered trees and low plants. Herds of Triceratops, duck-billed hadrosaurs, and Tyrannosaurus rex trampling through, keeping the vegetation patchy and sparse. After the asteroid, broad sweeping rivers that curve stable paths, dense forests that lock the soil in place. And when those forests died, their remains pile up and eventually turn into coal. The connection clicked when the team thought about mother elephants. Elephants knock down trees, trample undergrowth, and keep landscapes open. But remove elephants, and forests reclaim the space within years. Dinosaurs, especially the giant plant eaters, were doing the same thing, but on a scale we can barely imagine. They were our planet's landscape architects for over 160 million years. Let's say it again, 160 million years. When they vanished, forests exploded across the continent. Those forests stabilized riverbanks. Rivers stopped jumping around and settled into graceful, meandering curves. Think about the Amazon. That plant matter accumulated instead of washing away, eventually forming coal beds. The dinosaurs didn't just disappear. They took entire landscapes with them. So what does a 66 million year extinction have to do with us today? Well, everything. We're living through what we scientists call the sixth mass extinction. The giants of today are disappearing at rates not seen since the dinosaurs vanished. But there's one crucial difference this time. Here's the uncomfortable truth. We are ecosystem engineers too. Maybe the most powerful ones Earth has ever seen. We've reshaped more than half the planet's land surface. We've cleared forests, rerouted rivers, and built cities where wilderness once stood. And for a very long time, we didn't fully understand what we were losing, because here's what these Montana rocks teach us. When you remove the architects, everything changes. The dinosaurs didn't have any choice when that asteroid hit, but we do. The question isn't whether losing Earth giants will change our world. We know it will. The question is whether we'll act in time to protect the ones that we have left. Around the world, scientists and conservationists are working to protect the ecosystem engineers that we still have, and they're proving it's possible. In Yellowstone National Park, reintroducing wolves changed how rivers flow. The wolves hunted elk, which changed where elk grazed, which allowed trees to grow back along riverbanks, which stabilized the soil and altered the river channels themselves. One species rippling out across an entire landscape. In Africa, elephant conservation projects aren't just saving the elephants. They're preserving the open woodland habitats that thousands of other species depend on. Protecting ecosystem engineers mean protecting entire ecosystems. On the other hand, indigenous communities who have served as stewards of their lands for thousands of years are showing us how humans can be positive ecosystem engineers, shaping landscapes in ways that increase biodiversity rather than destroying it. The lesson from deep time is clear. Earth systems can transform rapidly when we change who the landscape architects are. We've already triggered massive changes. Now the question is whether we'll be wise enough to protect the engineers we have left and thoughtful enough to design our own impact with care. But this isn't just work for scientists and government. Every choice we make about land use, every species we protect, every river we restore, it all matters. Because we're writing the next chapter of our planet's story right now. You can support organizations working to protect megafauna and restore ecosystems. You can advocate for wildlife corridors and protect lands. You can learn about and support indigenous land management practices. The question isn't whether we'll have a mark on this planet. We already have. The question is, what legacy we'll choose to live. At Climate Ages, we believe that when we understand, we care. And when we care, that's when we protect. Those striped rocks in Montana tell us something crucial. Life and landscape are inseparable. The big animals shaping ecosystems aren't decorations. They are architects of the world we live in. Our choices today will shape our planet for millions of years to come. The question is, will we be wise enough to become the kind of ecosystem engineers that our planet needs? Subscribe for more science that explains our past and shapes our future. Did you know that Climate Ages started as a science storytelling newsletter that now has over 12,000 subscribers? Visit climateages.com and join a community of optimistic changemakers. I can't wait to see you there.